Kia ora everyone, welcome into the Kiwi Darts podcast with your host Ben Francis. It is so good to be back talking all things darts from a New Zealand perspective. It has been quite a while between drinks and I do apologise for that. Had quite a few things to work out, a few little bits here and there, but we are back talking all things darts and it is so great to have you listening back into the Kiwi Darts podcast. It has been a while. We're about 3 months out now from the New Zealand Darts Masters, and last week I went along to the Sky Tower where Sky City was confirmed as the naming rights sponsor for the New Zealand Darts Masters. While I was there, I caught up with Haupai Puha, who is back in New Zealand at the moment. He took part in a sky jump, I think it's called, to essentially confirm and announce Sky City as the main sponsor for the tournament, which was really cool. Got to see him jump off the Sky Tower there, flew through darts with him, and then even had a chance to catch up with him. It was a nice afternoon out with some players, then later confirmed to take part in the tournament, which I'll run through after the interview. You may have seen my story on the New Zealand Herald website that I did with Haupai, but if you didn't, you can go check that out. But this is also the full interview I had with Hopes. Great to see you back in New Zealand. Are you enjoying your time, of course, being with whānau and everything like that?
Yep, it's good to be back. Good to see the family. Been on the golf course a few times, and yeah, just good to be back in New Zealand.
I was actually going to ask you about the golf because I see you shot a 69 the other day, which is pretty bloody impressive. You still got it?
Yeah, I hacked it around. I shot 68 the first time I came back to Avondale, my home club. And after a few beers, they twisted my arm to play the club champs qualifying the following day. And I went out there, shot 68 again, topped the first day. I was a leader, especially after not touching a club for 4 months. I was a bit shocked. And then played again on the weekend, shot 69 on Saturday and 70 on Sunday. So still got it. It was a little bit rusty. It probably wasn't as pretty as the score says, but I missed it.
Yeah, I know you love your golf. Did you get a chance to get out on any of the courses in the UK at all? Or?
Nah, I'm just fully committed to darts at the moment and giving it 100%. So I didn't want any distractions like that to come between me and my practice.
I was going to ask about the courses, whether the courses over here are nicer, but I'm assuming you're going to say here.
I've only played a couple last year, and it was in winter, so it was sopping wet. The landscapes were good, but you can never beat your home course.
Yeah. And of course, obviously with the golf as well, I know lots of the other guys like a bit of golf as well. I think Nathan Aspinall is one that really enjoys it. And someone that, with your experience in golf, do you think there is definitely some of those transferable skills with hand-eye coordination, for example?
Yeah, I guess so. I just was always good at that kind of stuff. To be fair, growing up, I was good at anything hand-eye coordination-wise. I was good at it. Not great, but I could play it. The dart players, a lot of them do play golf. It's sort of stress release, I guess. None of them are actual golfers, as per se. They think they are. They still got the same egos on the golf course as they do at the Oki. But as soon as they heard, I hired some regular shafted clubs, and back-to-back days shot one over par on courses I'd never played. They didn't want to bar with me, so
Yeah, good stuff. And of course, just being back here as well for an extended time, of course, a bit of a refresh, of course, with usually the second half of the year over in the UK can be pretty hectic. So it's a good chance for you just to refresh and reset.
Yeah, 100%. My goal was to obviously qualify for the Euros that is being played right now. I failed to do that, which gave me a 7-week window where I could just miss 2 Players' Championships and come home. I'm practicing every day, trying to prepare as much as I can for the World Cup, playing a couple of DPNZ events as well, and just in case I need some of the ranking points for next year. Never know what's going to happen, so just sort of thinking ahead. The next sort of couple of months are pretty full on. Got the World Cup in Frankfurt, then a bunch of Pro Tours before I head back to Sydney, and then the Auckland Masters.
Yeah, and of course we are at the Sky Tower at the moment because with the New Zealand Darts Masters only a few months away now, and a new venue at Spark Arena. It's pretty exciting. It's going to probably be the biggest and best one yet.
Yeah, it looks like it. Sky City's come on board and the main sponsor, which is really good. It's good to be back to Auckland. I played my first one in Auckland. It was on their west side. I I think last time it was played. But yeah, it'll be good. Spark Arena, I think everyone's going to be excited, and I know I am, and hopefully I can perform.
I'm assuming you've probably been to Spark Arena before and seen what it's like up on, if they got the stage up there, for example.
No, I have not.
You haven't? No. All right.
Well, I lived in Auckland for a couple of years out south, and to be honest, we didn't actually come into Auckland. So we lived for 2 years. I lived in Takanini, and we only went through Auckland. So
yes.
The traffic congestion is too bad, so we just stayed where we were.
Okay, all right, and I don't blame you. Living north, I don't blame you. I was going to ask as well, with Spark Arena being a big venue, you said your debut was out at the Trust Arena there, and then in Hamilton it's been the last few years, and then Spark is just a completely different venue again. Does the venue have anything to do with playing darts, or is it just you got your board there, you see just all you're focused on?
No, it's the crowd. The measurements are all the same everywhere you go. Obviously, the crowd's going to be a bit more involved over here towards us as in the Kiwi qualifiers. They're not too friendly overseas, so I'm looking forward to actually getting the crowd behind me. That's really good.
Yeah, and considering you have been based overseas for the most part for the last couple of years, is it nice being able to come back and then getting the opportunity to play in front of your home fans and hear your name called out and everyone cheering your name?
100%. My family comes there in the crowd, and I always look out for them. A lot of people wearing my shirts and that, and I spot them. And so, yeah, it's very humbling to come home and see that.
And of course, you've been over in the UK, so you would have no doubt been caught up in all the fanfare and all, of course, and everything that's going to happen in the last year, especially with the likes of Luke Littler. What's it like being involved over there, where I guess darts is crazy and it's only getting bigger and better?
Yeah, well, it's not crazy for me. I can still walk through the main doors. I don't have to come around the backs like he does. It's crazy. It is absolutely crazy. I see the hundreds of people lining up outside just to see him, and he's done like big things for the game. It's awesome.
And you would have all seen him in the practice room and things like that before, so could you just what is he like kind of behind the scenes before he kind of gets up on the stage?
Well, to be honest, he's the last one to get to the tournaments. He gets here sort of 5 minutes before check-in. He's fairly quiet and just puts his headphones on and plays on his phone most of the time. He does get up and practice a little bit, but he's not grinding away. I guess he's just got that natural talent that he doesn't need to. So.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, with yourself, how have you found your game improve over the last sort of 18 months since being primarily based over in the UK?
I mean, I feel like I've gotten better. I mean, obviously numbers don't lie. The numbers say that I haven't got much better, but I feel like, the experience has done me wonders. I guess the experience. Yeah, you can't buy that, and I don't get nervous. I play better against the seeds, which is weird. But yeah.
And what is it like over there? Is it a bit similar if you're playing like a kind of sort of like a club game here, for example? You lose, you got to go chalk sort of thing. Is that how it sort of works? Or?
Oh, now that I've come back to deep end, I forgot all about chalking. So the PDC make sure absolutely everything is perfect so that you can play your best darts. The temperature's perfect, the lighting's sort of perfect. We get chalkers, so you don't have to chalk. Win or lose, you don't have to chalk. And you just have time just to prepare. They even come and get you when it's your turn to play. So it's just everything that they can do to make it easier for us. That's what they do. That's what it's like.
Yeah. And you touched on before as well, you played in those couple of DPNZ events, was either earlier this month or late last month. I think you had a semi-final and a final there.
Yeah.
Have you noticed in your kind of time away any standards improve from the local players at all? Or?
Yeah. The boys, they've been playing good this year. But they always play good. There's a big bunch of them that could be overseas with me. Like I was hoping that Ben was to get that tour card and he could have been there with me. But yeah, there's a bunch of them that could easily be there with me.
Yeah, and even I think was it the one where you reached the semi-finals. I think was it Jack Shepherd went on to win it, and for a young guy like that to have the day he did as well. I only saw the numbers, of course, but it just seemed like everything clicked for him, and it's good for someone who is so young and invested in the game to really stamp his mark.
Yeah, they both won their debut tournaments. I was very happy for Jack. He's come through the rankings. He started, in the juniors, and he's worked his way up. He's done his apprenticeship essentially. So I was over the moon for him. And Johnny Tata sort of comes and goes as he pleases, and he's just so naturally talented that he can win whenever he wants to. So yeah, they were big wins for New Zealand darts and for them.
Totally, and you touched on you got the World Cup coming up as well in Germany. You've got Mark Cleaver firstly as your partner this year. You excited to play alongside him?
Yeah, I'm excited. He's definitely excited. So I think we'll do good. He doesn't mind playing the slower games, so and I like playing pairs, so I think we will gel pretty good. We've travelled together as long as I've been playing darts, so it'll be good. It'll be fun.
And I don't know, it's kind of hard to say with a different pair as well, and probably a bit of a new look, but of course the way that the kind of things went down at the World Cup last year with Germany pitting that stunning finish in front of their home crowd.
Yeah, don't remind me.
I was going to say, do you have kind of a thing where you kind of want to not avenge it sort of thing, but kind of like, all right, we were that close, we want to really push on?
Well, it's win or lose, we just want to perform. We just want to make everyone back home proud. So as long as we can put in good performances, hopefully we'll just let the darts do the talking.
And what are some of those other targets or goals you kind of got set in mind for this year? Of course, as I said before, the second half of the year is usually pretty full on, and you've got the events here. So what else have you kind of got on the radar? What are some of those targets?
The goal is to be a darts professional forever. So to get into the top 64 is the top of the list. I got a long way to go, and I've only got sort of 6 months left on my tour card, which is going to be tough, but it's not impossible. Another one is to make the Worlds again. That's a big for points and for money. So those are main goals for this year.
I think is it the expanded fields this year or is it next year? Do you know?
I thought it was this year, but I'm not 100%
Yeah,
sure.
I thought it was, so I just wasn't 100% because I was going to say with it being an expanded field, do you kind of see that as probably a better opportunity to try and
2026. So
that's how I took it. Yeah. So if there is an expanded field, I guess do you see that as a good opportunity for yourself if there's going to be more spaces available?
Yeah, 100%. That gives another 32 extra. Yeah, I'm hoping that I can get one of those spots, definitely.
And kind of a couple of things have changed in the local scene as well since you were based here. I think this year they had the change at the Masters, which saw, I think, was it the top 8 had the chance to go play at the Masters. I only think one Kiwi went. But of course you've got, later this year, you've got that Premier League event with the top Australia and New Zealand players. Do you kind of like some of those initiatives to try and grow the game locally?
Yeah, 100%. I'm all for that. I'm not sure how they're doing the qualifying for it, and we're not only Simon sort of the only name down at the moment. But I hope it goes well. Hope it does well.
Yeah,
we need it.
Yeah, exactly. We do need it. And I guess for yourself again, you touched on it. It's a long way to go for the tour card. If it's something that unfortunately doesn't go your way, you've got to probably go back to Q School and grab it second time. Possibly.
It's a family decision, that one. We have to talk about it when it comes to it.
I know that you last year at Hamilton you had a very, very nice jersey. Have you got anything special planned for this time around?
I think I might just have a little something up my sleeve.
Oh, I love the sound of that. I love the sound of that. It sounds good. Thanks, Haupai. I really appreciate your time, mate. Good to see you again.
Great to see you, mate.
Haupai Puha there joining us on the Kiwi Darts podcast. Always great to catch up with Haupai. Last time I spoke to him would have been the Darts Masters last year, so great to see him back in New Zealand. Great to see him looking happy, enjoying his time with his family. And of course, we're just about 3 months away from the New Zealand Darts Masters, taking place at Spark Arena, I should say, August, I think it's 15th, 16th off the top of my head. That's correct, August 15th, August 16th. Spark Arena, first time at Spark Arena. Boy, it should be good. I reckon it's going to be like a Premier League venue. That's how awesome I think the venue is. I'm really, really excited to have it at Spark Arena. Anyways, we touched on before about the players taking part in the New Zealand Darts Masters. Haupai, of course, definitely taking part. Simon Whitlock also going to be taking part. These are part of the Oceania representatives. Then we're going to have our 3 DPNZ Order of Merit qualifiers, and they will be decided after the next DPNZ event. Currently, Ben Robb, Mark Cleaver, John Hurring occupying those 3 spots. And I think there are a couple of other guys just nipping at their heels. So I reckon there's going to be about 5 guys fighting for 3 spots. That's my tip. Then we're also going to have the DPNZ qualifiers. There's going to be 2 spots for those. I think that's early July from memory. I think July 2nd or 6th off the top of my head. I'll have to double check that, but it's early July anyway. And then we're also going to have the Dart Players Australia Order of Merit Leader, and that will determine the Oceania representatives. But the PDC guys are the ones that did get confirmed last week. Luke Humphreys, world number 1. Luke Littler, reigning world champion. We're also going to have Gerwyn Price, the 2022 New Zealand Darts Masters champion, coming back. Damon Hedder, of course, being the number 1 ranked Aussie player. Stephen Bunting returning for the first time since 2015, which was the inaugural one out there at Trust Arena in Henderson. Back then, the Auckland Darts Masters. And a new face returning. New face appearing for the first time in New Zealand, Chris Dobie. It'll be awesome to see Chris there. Now, this is where it gets interesting. Still 2 spots to be confirmed for the New Zealand Darts Masters and the Australian Darts Masters as well, I should say. Rob Cross, Michael Van Gerwen, Nathan Aspinall will not be coming down. They've confirmed that they are not taking part for family reasons, probably because it's been a busy schedule for them. There's going to be a brief break in the schedule, so they'll have the opportunity just to, I guess, reset a little bit before that back end of the year is just absolutely hectic. So I think that's more the reason why. But this is the interesting part. So 2 spots still left to pick, and it's going to be interesting to see what road the PDC will take to determine who fills those 2 spots. Do they look for someone who's tried and tested down under? So we're going to see the likes of Peter Wright and Michael Smith back. Or are we going to see an old face returning? And what I mean by that is, well, are we going to see a Johnny Clayton, a James Wade, who were both last here in 2022, I think it was? Are we going to see Chizzy back, who competed here 2016, 2017, one of those 2? Or Gary Anderson, who I think was last here pre-COVID as well, from memory? Or are we going to see a new face like Ross Smith, for example? When I go down the order of merit, I don't think anyone that's sort of below Ross Smith will get picked. So I was looking, so the names Clayton, Wade, Chizzy, Gary Anderson, Ross Smith. I went down the order of merit based on who would be available. And if they're going to go based on rankings, I would suspect it would be 1 or 2 of those guys. I personally think Michael Smith will appear, should his health be okay, because as we know, he has struggled a little bit this year. He's spoken a bit about arthritis. He's spoken a bit about the intensity of the schedule that he's been under. And I guess the drop in the rankings has enabled him to probably not play in as many events, which obviously not good for the ranking, but probably a good chance to work on his health and kind of get back to where we know he could be. But of course, he is a man with Shot Darts. So the fact that Shot Darts being the New Zealand-based company, I think he will appear should he be healthy enough. So that's I'm picking Michael Smith to take 1 of those spots. With regards to the second spot, I think it's going to be as simple of working down the order of merit. So I think based on how it is now, it would be Johnny Clayton or James Wade taking 1 of those spots. However, they were both here, as I said, in 2022. Part of me is thinking, I love seeing new faces. I love seeing new faces at this event. So I would, if it was me, I would like to see Ross Smith, to be completely honest. A brand new name down under. Someone that is not a household name, but someone who is definitely on the up, per se. If we go back to 2023, I think it was, Danny Noppert came down. I think at the time he was world number 10. And he came down, so why not Ross Smith? Ross Smith is an up-and-comer, one of the biggest 180 hitters in the world that will get the crowd on their feet. And I think it'd be a good opportunity for him, because we go back to a guy like Mike DeDecker, for example, who won the major and then was kind of left out of the Premier League, had a bit of a sulk about it, but he hasn't really kicked on. he has been named to do a couple of these World Series events. So I kind of think, like, why not bring Ross Smith down? Why not? This will give him the opportunity, because Ross Smith is probably approaching that stage where he does have a run in a tournament, does well, wins a couple of big titles, where he probably would get included in some of those big events down the line. So why not? Why not? I think it would be great. However, I think the PDC might go to other names before that. I think they might look at a guy like Gary Anderson, who is on a bit of a resurgence, a bit more of a household name, because that's what you want. But I think at the same time, Ross Smith, it's kind of like the future, if you know what I mean. It's like picking, okay, we know Ross Smith is going to be really good coming up, so let's pick him now. That's how I would like to see it go. But I think they're going to go with one of the tried and tested names, to be honest. So I think it might be a Peter Wright. I think it might be a Gary Anderson, but that is still to be confirmed. So just recapping there, Luke Humphries, Luke Littler, Stephen Bunting, Gerwyn Price, Damon Hedder, Chris Dobie, Simon Whitlock, and of course Haupai Puha already confirmed for the New Zealand Darts Masters for August 15th and 16th here at Spark Arena. That's all we got time for here on the Kiwi Darts podcast. Of course, you can go check out the interview earlier in this piece. You can go to the YouTube page. You can go wherever. You can find Kiwi Darts podcast in lots of different places. And if you also want to read the write-up on the New Zealand Herald website, just search my name, Ben Francis, New Zealand Herald. It will pop up somewhere. You'll be able to read that there. We're going to be catching up with a couple of the Kiwi guys in the coming weeks here on the New Zealand Darts podcast, hoping to have Mark Cleaver in our next episode, of course, with him going to compete with Haupai at the upcoming World Cup. But that's all we got time for here. We'll catch you next time on the Kiwi Darts podcast. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to like, subscribe, all that usual stuff. We'll catch you next time.